What's going on, guys? Scar coming at you with another Magic the Gathering video. In today's video, we'll be diving into a different deck. I know I'm a little bit late to the party. I didn't have the early access to the M21 event, but we kind of got something built. Kind of want to kind of spin off the last deck I did, which was like a Cat's Mutate deck. But today we're going to be introducing some of the new stuff from M21 as well as dogs into the deck. So it's kind of like a cat dog tribal deck. Not really sure exactly at the time of recording here what I'm going to name the deck, but I mean, this deck can make it really rain cats and dogs, so maybe that's going to be the play on words we're going to use for this deck. But overall, this deck is actually kind of fun. We switch up the mana base instead of going for the Mardu style, or I feel like that's what the last deck was. We're gonna go for the Naya style, so we're gonna splash in the green, the white, and the red, with a little bit of spot removal, but for majority of the time we're just playing creatures. We're just trying to get things on the battlefield. I really don't know how this deck is gonna do. It's a work in progress just because I'm not really sure how Mutate really interacts with like the way the dog stuff and the cat stuff works. So it is a work in progress. The deck kind of plays things that pump cats, things that pump dogs, things that prevent damage to dogs, things that prevent damage to cats. So it's quite interesting in that thing. There also is a couple interesting tricks that we can do with this deck to kind of like keep some of our stuff from dying over and over again, or just allowing us to keep things on the battlefield. I kind of splashed in a couple things that mutate that allow us to either get more tokens onto the battlefield of either cats, things to get things back from our graveyard. So this deck has a little bit of utility and all sorts of things just in case our opponent decides to wipe the board. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be facing from the decks. I kind of tested this as I was kind of tweaking it before this video. It went pretty well. But enough said, guys. Let's move on to what the deck is all about, break it down, then go into some gameplay, and then we'll kind of come to the post game and kind of see how the games went and kind of talk about it a little bit. But guys, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to know when I post more videos, hit the subscribe button, and let's get into the deck. Alright guys, so here is the overall deck list. It's pretty straightforward. We run pretty much a very small curve. We're not really, it's more of an aggressive aggro-ish deck. If we get into the late game against something more control-like or something that can kind of like take out things on our board, we're pretty much done for. But if we can get pretty aggressive out onto the battlefield, we can do pretty well against some other aggro decks. I wouldn't say it's as fast as, you know, a hasty mono red deck, but it does have some good stuff, some cheap stuff that we can play things in put multiple things on the same turn, and overall curves out pretty well. So to start it off, we don't play companion, even though Kahira is currently my card box. We don't actually physically play a companion just because Kahira, for example, can't be played with dogs in the deck, and Loris can only play with things smaller than, you know, 2 or less in the deck. So we want to kind of keep the deck having some bigger cards, use some of the new stuff from M21. I think everything in this deck is pretty much new-ish other than the lands themselves, but everything else is newish in the past couple sets. So we're not really playing super old cards that have been out and around, but for the most part everything is on the new end. So you may have acquired this, especially if you're newly into Magic the Gathering, or you may just have had it just because you may have collected it as well. And overall the curve in spent cost of this deck isn't too bad. It kind of gets costly just because of the lands, but overall the general curve of wild cards is pretty decent. So first and foremost, we're going to start off with the Garrison Cat, just because he's a 1-cost, 1/1 cat, that when it dies, we get to create a 1/1 white human token creature onto the battlefield. So it's like a thing, in case they decide to spot removal this, or this dies, we just get another creature in place of it. It's kind of like an afterlife effect, so that's definitely good. So that's awesome to have. And it's a cat for 1, so definitely cool. Isawful Survivors is a new card that came out of M21. Pretty much what this is a dog that costs a 1/1. And you can sacrifice it, and another target creature we control gains indestructible. So we can protect pretty much any of our creatures, especially if we decide to target with a spell directly. This dog can be sacrificed and allows us to give that creature indestructible. So it pretty much hopefully prevents our opponent from removing that card off the battlefield. Then we go into Pack Leader. This is one of the new cards with the dog lord of, I guess, M21. Pretty much it gives all our other dogs +1/+1. And then whenever Pack Leader attacks, you get to prevent all combat damage that we dealt to dogs you control this turn. So pretty much you swing in with this plus your other dogs. This trigger goes onto the effect, and pretty much even if they block any of your dogs and any of their effects, and all their combat damage would be prevented to your dog. So no death touch, doesn't kill any of this. I don't think lifelink works just because their damage isn't being dealt to the creatures. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't run into that situation. Let me know in the comments below if I'm actually wrong, or maybe we'll see it in the gameplay, so maybe we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, pretty good card. Just kind of pretty much gives our attacks, our dogs, when they attack, indestructible. So that's pretty cool, and just pluses them up +1/+1. We have some Scorching Dragonfire just for that spot removal. It's 3 damage for 2, which is very, very strong. We can target creatures or planeswalkers, and if that creature or planeswalker gets targeted by this, it gets exiled instead of goes to the graveyard. So definitely a good way to prevent things from that would come back, or possibly rotate back, coming back from the graveyard instead. So definitely good card there. Then we're going to the Bronze-Hide Lion, which is another solid card. It's a 2-cost cat. It's a 3/3. We can tap 2, a green and a white, and we give it indestructible until end turn. And if this card does die, we get to return it onto the battlefield. It's an aura enchantment with enchant creature you control has green and white. Enchanted creature gains indestructible until end turn, and it loses all other abilities. So pretty much, it's a 2-for-1 kind of card, which is definitely, I think, very solid. So if they decide to kill this, or this dies due to combat damage or some other thing, pretty much returns as an aura and kind of allows us to have this ability on technically any creature that we want. So technically allows us to pretty much make another creature indestructible, like maybe one of our pack leaders or something like that we just maybe don't want to die early, or keep it around a little bit longer. So definitely a good card, and it's a 3/3 for 2 mana, which is also super duper strong. Then we got the Bolt Hound, which is a new card from M21 as well. You're gonna notice there's gonna be a lot of new dogs, because dogs really weren't a thing until like M21. I mean, there was hounds and stuff like that, but I think all the hounds and all those other dog-like creatures all got changed to dogs on the combat text, so that's something that you may want to look out for. But pretty much what this is a 3-cost 2/2, and whenever it attacks, other creatures we control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So pretty much it pumps all our creatures additionally on top of anything else that's pumping them. So it's a 3-cost 2/2. We only run 2 of them, just because it's kind of expensive. It's kind of one of those additional things. Maybe we're getting really aggressive. We add a lot of little small 1-drops. It's a good way to just make our things just that little bit bigger. Then we go to the Feline Sovereign, another new card from M21. This is a new cat. Pretty much pumps. It's another creature pump. It does give our creatures protection from dogs. So if we do face against like a dog focused deck, all our cats can now protect dogs and not have to worry about damage. And then the other thing too is whenever one or more cats we control deals combat damage to a player, they trigger an ability to destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. So pretty much we can destroy an enchantment or artifact that player may control, regardless of as long as they do damage to an opponent's face, at least one or more cats. Then we got Loris. It's another good cheap card. We're not playing as a companion, but we're using it for the ability that during each one of our turns we can cast 1 permanent spell with a converted mana cost 2 or less from our graveyard, which is definitely good, because a lot of our things, other than maybe like everything that we're gonna go over here, is 2 or less. So we can get any of our alliance back, any of our pack leaders, selfless saviors, and Garrison Cat. So just a good way to rotate things back onto the battlefield, especially if there's a board wipe. Loris is just that strong card that our opponent has to kind of deal with, or it's kind of like, it's kind of like, oh man, that's, not a good thing. Then we got Necropanther, which is, I think, another cool card that I kind of want to splash in here. Like I said, I want to splash in the Mutate. So this is pretty much a 3/3 for 3, or we can mutate it for 4. And whenever the creature mutates, return target creature card with a convert may cost 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. We don't play any humans, so everything can be mutated in our deck. And this gives us another way to get things back later in the game that maybe got put there to kind of give us that little bit of an edge. Just allowing us to pretty much get back a Loris, get back a Feline Sovereign, maybe a Bolt Hound, a Kahira, which is definitely a whole bunch of decent cards that could definitely help us out in the late game, just to finish off our opponent, and just a good way to reoccur things that maybe just got put there by being killed or something like that. Just another solid card I thought was a cool additional add. I don't really know how good this will be. We have only played tested it very limitedly. I've only probably played like a handful of games, so we could see maybe we could add more or cut more depending on how it really feels in the deck. Then we got Kahira, another thing that boosts all our cats. That is pretty much what it is. We're not playing as a companion. Itself is a cat. It also has vigilance, gives all our cats vigilance, and also additional +1/+1. So it's another additional cat lord in our deck, giving them all vigilance as well. Definitely a solid card. We play 3 of them with the ability to possibly get them back in case they do end up in the graveyard. Definitely a cool card. You guys probably already know this. Cub Warden is the next card. This is another solid card. It's a 4-cost 3/5 with lifelink, and we can also mutate it for 4. And whenever this creature mutates, we get to put 2 1/1 white cat creatures tokens on the battlefield with lifelink. So just to, getting wider, getting bigger. If we have other cat lords on the battlefield, our cats are now 2/2s, 3/3s, so on and so forth, depending on what we have on the battlefield. Definitely a solid card. Definitely a good way to get just that much wider on our opponent. Then we got Rin in Surrey, which is the new overall cat legendary creature. It's a dog cat. It's part dog, part cat. It is like the Naya legendary card. Whenever we cast a dog spell, we get to create a 1/1 green cat creature. Whenever we cast a cat spell, we get a 1/1 white dog creature. So it's pretty much we make one or the other for everything we have. We play pretty much 1 and 1, so we'll have either or. And then we can tap 3 and tap it. It deals damage to any target equal to the number of dogs we control. And then on top of it, we gain life equal to the number of cats we control. So it's a good way for us to deal damage to something and gain life in the process. So As long as we're just playing dogs and cats, we'll get tokens, which will then add to that effect and could actually finish off games, or maybe even spot removal, something that our opponent is trying to, you know, just got on the battlefield, or, you know, just overall pretty solid card. And it's a dog and cat, so it gains the benefits of all our dog lords and or cat lords. So if we have a hero, we have a pack leader, we have a Feline Sovereign, this thing can get pretty large very easily. So definitely a good card, I guess, for the deck overall. Then we get to lands. We play, I believe, 25 lands, or 24 lands, somewhere around there. It is Naya, so we play 4 plains, 2 mountains, 3 forests, 4 stomping grounds, 4 sacred foundries, 4 temple guardians, and 4 fabled passages. Just because there's no triome for Naya lands, we did go for the fabled passages to kind of maybe mana fix just that little bit more in the deck. Overall, the mixture of lands is pretty interesting. The Necropanther only really can be played for its mutate cost, just because it has black mana. I was thinking about possibly adding in 1 triome or 1, you know, dual land that is black mana, or even 1 basic land, but I decided to go against it just because we have plenty of the other lands. If you want to take a look at our curve, we average about 2.3. Our curve is very small. We're on the very more aggressive side. 25 lands, like I said, mixture of 31 creatures, 21 cats, 12 dogs, and the other stuff is just because it's like part dog, part cat, you know, elemental, beast, nightmare type thing. But overall, let's enough about the deck itself. Let's get into what the games are going to happen. Like I said, I don't really know how we're going to do here. There's some interesting decks I haven't faced that came out of M21 that I did see some people post already. So hopefully we get some decent matchups. I'm not expecting anything amazing, but let's see what happens. All right, we're on the play. Our mana is pretty good just because we have all the colors. We don't have a turn 1 play, but I think I'm gonna keep just because we can draw into more stuff. We're just gonna play the Temple Guardian into play tap just because I have a turn 1 play. Might as well not take damage if we don't have to. All right, looks like we're playing a deck of some sort of spells. Let's do this. Let's play you. I could have played the pack leader, but I think the 3/3 is a little bit more threatening just because it's a bigger body that maybe if they're playing they can't technically shock it. So it is something that our opponent can't really deal with for at least 1 mana. They may attack for 1, or maybe, yeah, they're gonna attack for 1, of course they are. Okay, so I think we just go in for attacks. Just, I don't know what they could have. I think we play this. And we do this. We say go. I really don't know what they're gonna do. They're probably gonna kill it. I would kill it if I was them. It could be a threat. They're looking at my cards and it's like, well, that's not a dog. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I think what we do here again is we do this. Pay 2 life. We'll go into combat. I could play the dog. I'll play this just because this is definitely something they want to deal with. So if they have a reaction to that, they definitely want to probably get rid of it. Just because next turn it could become a pain in the butt because we could get 2 cats. That's fine. Give it a little bit more damage. +2/+1, so it's a 3/2. Puts us down to 13. All right, has flying. Awesome. So that's 4 cards where they need 8. All right. I mean, that seems really good. Yeah, I guess we'll attack in. I mean, we could be dead. There are 4. We'll play this and play tap just because we don't want to lose anything. We have something to protect any of our creatures. So they can't kill any, they can only target this because I can sacrifice and protect anything else. Yeah, I mean, they could tap out and make it bigger. Double strike, okay. So it's a 2/2. They get... That's perfectly fine. And they're gonna swing in for 5, which is perfectly fine. They had to have it. Why did it not hit me? They had to have it though. That was the thing. They had to have that double strike or it was GG's for them. So they drew well. The one thing I could have probably done instead of playing those cards, now thinking about it, is I probably could have... I could have tapped the dog and gained a life, which doesn't help, but would have done 1 damage, which would have killed it, actually. So, I'm not thinking about it. That's probably what I should have done. So that's some of those things that I'm still getting used to the cards, so I'll think about it next time. Alright, we're on the play. I like this hand. Don't have any white, though. Really wish I had a white. That's better. We'll get rid of one of the bronze lions, I think. Just because this gives my cats +1/+1. And we have all their land colors, so we're not going to play anything on turn 1. We'll put one of these into play tapped. I'll probably do this and then play that turn 2. So we'll keep 6. We'll put a lion on the bottom. They're thinking. I guess, okay, so they mulligan down to 6. Okay, so they're looking for a good hand. They're still figuring out if this is the hand, or they're probably figuring out what they want to put back into the deck. So they could have drawn like one of those hands where it's like, oh, it's really tough. But I mean, overall, I mean, I kind of enjoying M21. It has a good blend of, I think, some nice cards. I mean, there's anything that's super duper crazy. I mean, the new Teferi seems very interesting from what I've seen played. But I don't think there's anything that, like... I think there's things that could make interesting decks. Like, more diverse decks than what there currently was in the format, which is always good. Whenever there's a new, like, splash to the format. So that's definitely one thing. So they're playing some sort of... black-white, possibly? I mean, it's possible it could be a third color. They may be on a budget just because they have tap lands. Social features are down. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so they're playing this. I've saw this before. What does this do? Sacrifice another creature. It gets +1/+1 death. Okay. I don't really mind that. We're just going to play this just because this becomes a 4/4. So we're just going to make that bigger. They're probably also wondering what the ability does. So what we could do next turn is we could possibly Scorch and Dragonfire that. When it dies, okay. So we're gonna probably wait, see what happens. Because we can actually trigger that before they give it indestructible. So I'll put this into play tapped. We're going to combat. I'm going to swing only here. They don't have anything to do anything. So actually, what I should do here, to be on the safe side, because they can't do anything, we're actually just going to do this. Which I didn't realize their mana was untapped, so we're just going to get rid of that so they can't actually block or like give it death touch and whatnot. They have no like sacrifice and utility engine. This is actually the second time I play against a deck that's exactly like this. It's like a sacrifice deck. Alright. So it's like a sacrifice deck plus... I'm gonna get rid of that. Might as well get rid of things that are gonna give them more things. So we're attacking. They can't really deal with... They can only block one, which they probably have to start blocking down. They are going to get some blockers out of this, which is not bad. They're going to get 2 blockers. We're going to play Loris. And we'll say go. Loris will pretty much protect anything that may go to the graveyard unless they deal with Loris. It's also lifelink, so it's always strong to give a 4/3 lifelinker. They could have a kill spell. But then I can get back... Well, no, I can't get back to Feline with the Loris, so there is that. That's perfectly fine. They can't give that haste. They're not playing a deck that gives it haste, unfortunately. So they are going to have to, like, block, because it's lethal if they don't. Kahira is actually, I think, almost GG's for the most part. We are just gonna play Kahira just because it gives everything +1/+1 and vigilance, so we don't have to tap anything to attack, and we'll go to combat. They may have a spot. They got to do something now if they have something. But they don't, so we are going right to damage. Everything's actually too big for them to block down to kill, so that's good. So they are gonna not... Okay, so they may have... Do they have enough to do anything? They're gonna take 3. So what I would probably do if I was... What I'm gonna do on my turn is if they make me sacrifice, I'll probably sacrifice this? Maybe? Alright, so it's GG's. Right? I mean, unless they got something, I'm gonna attack all in and see what happens. I can protect anything by you know, I can protect this. Alright, so they still take their damage. Interesting. I do feel kind of bad because I feel like my deck is just slightly better, unless they have... Good game. Interesting. So they have like a card to recycle cards, I guess is what their deck is. Alright. I mean, I'm sure there's probably more to the deck, but... So the one thing I'm not 100% sure on is that I have that one legendary dog cat in the deck. And I'm not sure if I cast a Mutate, if that triggers that, because I believe that's still a cat spell. Even if it's not a cat creature spell, it's still a cat spell. So I'm kind of interested as to seeing how that works. Because that'd be kind of cool. You Cub Warden and then get an additional cat creature. So that'd definitely be cool. Took a minute there. Opponent goes first. Our hand is very... I mean, it's not the worst, but our mana is kind of weird. We don't have a turn 1 play. They don't have a... Alright, we're just gonna keep, just because I'm testing things out. It's fine, they're playing some sort of Dimir deck. I don't know if Dimir control is a thing. We are just gonna play a Sacred Foundry and a play tap, just because... Why not? Dimir Flash. Okay, Stone Coil. Which is solid for us, or solid for them, because we actually have a deck that does have a lot of things. Maybe it's Dimir Mutate, which could be an issue. Yeah, I'll block. No, they can have that. No, I'm not gonna block. They can mutate it. Yeah, it's fine. It was gonna die either way, so I knew it was gonna die. So maybe we'll just... It is what it is, kind of thing. So I think if they don't hold anything back, it becomes a race. We can Necropanther something back and actually, if they kill one of our creatures. Alright, so they're not doing anything fancy. Alright, so they're holding on to something. They're probably gonna bounce something here, is what my assumption is. Triggers. So here's the thing, it has multicolor, so we gotta play something that's like individual colors. So I'll play another pack leader? Just because I assumed. So, and then this gives them kind of like, yeah, there we go. Interesting. Okay, so they played a flying creature. Interesting, they have the bounce shark? Also, the funny thing is this actually turned into a dog deck. So they still do the damage. So I'm just gonna take it, unless they got something, then GG's. Which they don't have another Mutate for Flash. They draw a card. Maybe they have another Flash in here. Another Octopus, which kills something. I think that was actually a mistake. Unless they have a counter. So here's the thing. I'm actually going to pay this land just because I need that. And I'm actually going to mutate onto this. So you got a counter for it? They have something. So either way, I still get it. I just don't get the mutate. So they were going to mutate regardless. And that's game. But if they didn't have anything, we actually we would have had them because we would have just gone back that dog and we would have just swung in. So, and I was gonna put that under so I get the trigger from the dog effect. It's the difference of going first and I think second there also, and we literally just played dogs. So our deck becomes sometimes dogs and sometimes our deck becomes cats. It's kind of interesting. Opponent goes first. We have a decent hand. I actually like our curve. Our curve's pretty good. We have 2 4s, which isn't the worst. We have Garrison Cat, which is a good turn 1. I like Garrison Cat over like the other cat. I forget what the cat is. Just on the fact that it gives us a 1/1 in case they do decide to kill it. So we'll do this. We'll play this. Turn 2, we'll probably take our Foundry, play the pack leader. Okay, so they're playing. Okay, so maybe we're not gonna do that. I think we're actually gonna do this. We're gonna pay 2 life. We're gonna get rid of you so you can't actually mutate. Because that gives them card advantage. I'm hoping to draw a land. Like a green land would be amazing next turn. Make them pay everything more expensive here. That's perfectly fine. That's not great. So we do that. I'm just gonna fetch now. Might as well fetch, get what we need. Part of me wants to play this. Part of me wants to play Garrison Cat, but we'll go to combat and see what happens. They're not gonna block, of course, because it gives them a hexproof target. So I think we're gonna play pack leader. They don't technically play any kill spells. That's the thing. They don't play any kill spells because they play Yumori. So that's the one thing I don't have to worry about. But they can play some kind of ramp, which isn't the worst. They're gonna mutate. Yeah, you can bounce back my pack dog all you want. That's perfectly fine. It's not like it's the worst threat. It's just a 2/2 for them because I don't actually have any sort of threats. We didn't draw a land, which sucks. But we can play this, which is a problem for them, and we can play another Garrison Cat, and then no attacks. If we can draw a land next turn, we can Cub Warden, which is very good. They're gonna bounce back the Bronze Hide line, which is fine. Draw a card. They're not doing anything that's like really like making them win. They are leaving up a blocker, which I guess is great. But once we get wide enough on them, it's okay. They're tapped out, so we might as well lifelink. We'll put this over. I'll gain some life. I mean, if they want to block it, that's all. It's on them. I mean, I'm gonna gain life. So even if they attack in the air, it's like I gain the life back. If I draw another land here, that's fine. Sturks is fine. Yet again, it's nothing that I'm really worried about. They haven't really done anything that just makes it like, oh my god, this is gonna be broken. So they played a bunch of things. Another Sturks, that's actually not terrible because it's not a Sturks that's mutated. They can attack for 6 in the air now. They have a 6/6. Okay, so what do we do here? We didn't draw. The thing that sucks is that we're not drawing land, and that's kind of holding us back from playing more. We missed a few lands this game. So we could play Cub Warden again, mutate, get more 1/1 blockers. So I think that's what we're gonna do. And then if they do have another mutate, then they bounce it back. I'm assuming they're just gonna repeat the loop, right? That's what I would do if I was them. So put it over, just because. Why not? They have a 6/6, so we're not gonna attack. We'll take 6 in the air. They're not gonna, unless they give everything, unless they have whatchamacallit. They're not gonna, they can give everything trample, but they don't have it here. So maybe they don't have a mutate. Maybe they have a mutate. It's the one unfortunate thing is when you don't draw all your lands, you know? I think is why we're behind. If we could have been more aggressive, they would have had to deal with it, because they were pretty low. Alright, I'm just gonna concede just because our opponent could just swing a lot easier. Regardless if we block and gain life, they clearly have board advantage, so there's no way of us coming back from that, even with our spot removal. Our spot removal is gonna get rid of one thing. I mean, it's not the biggest a deal. Our opponent just had drew better. And we just kind of like didn't draw lands. I think if we would have kept on curve that last game, we overall would have been better. We're on the play. We are kind of like mana tied, but I think I like the hand just because we have plays. So I am going to be, their opponent is mulliganing, so that's a good sign for us. Isawful Survivor, turn 1. Scorching Dragonfire, maybe to take care of anything that's on their side of the battlefield on turn 2. Or even turn 2 Bronzebeard is always strong. I mean, our opponent could be playing something like mono red, which isn't the worst thing to mulligan with. Okay, it's white something. Flyers? Alright, that doesn't make me feel good. The question is, does our opponent block and gain the life? I think we just play the 3/3. I'm gonna attack. If they block, they block. I don't honestly. I actually feel like it helps me. Okay, see, no blocks. Then they're probably playing flyers. If they decide to take this out, I can give it indestructible. Winged words, possibly. Would be my assumption here. Oh, Hushbringer, that's fine. That's actually not bad because I don't have anything that really enters the battlefield kind of effects. Perfect. I do have enough for this or the cat. What do I want? Do I want this or the cat? This gets 4/4 and vigilance. So vigilance? I mean, I'm not really worried by what they have yet. They could play something that makes them untap their creatures. Sure. I'm gonna just Scorching Dragonfire that next turn, so they can get 1 draw out of it, gain some life. Pass the blockers, pass the damage. I don't think it was. I think they should have kept, maybe just attack with the 1 and kept the other one up as a blocker, personally. I'm just gonna get rid of it now, just because why not? Now we'll go to combat, we'll attack. Oh, wait, hold on. I meant to attack with all. Just because they don't tap. Next turn, I think we play the Rin and Suri, just because, why not? It gains the benefit of that. They are mana, our opponent is mana screwed, which is kind of terrible for them, unfortunately. They are attacking, interesting. They don't leave with the blocker. I wonder why. They've been unsummoned? Okay. Interesting. Maybe they have a winged word? Not winged words? Winged words is draw a card. Maybe they have the thing to attack and untap and swing or whatever. And gain some life. Interesting. Should I attack? I don't know what's going on here. Rally the wings, that's perfectly fine. It's fine. You still take enough to kill you, unfortunately. It's still 9. You don't gain life if you don't gain life and you die. That's 7. That's 12. You only gain 3 there. Yeah. Let's make sure. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was enough. I never used the effect, so it was kind of cool to use it. I knew our opponent had some sort of trick. All right, so coming in the wrap up, I mean, overall, I think the deck performed fairly well. I think it's fun. I think there's things that can be tweaked, just on the fact that there's not really much we can do to interact if our opponent just gets wider than us. It is a deck that is aggressive, so if we don't get off to an aggressive start, or we get kind of landlocked and we can't play a lot of things to kind of get wide, it kind of does limit us on how quickly we can try to attack our opponent's life total. But overall, the deck, I think, performed fairly well. We only got a micro size of like what is in the meta. We really didn't play against like the red decks. We didn't play anything that was like top meta before, you know, this current set added in. I didn't see anything with the Teferis, which I've heard is very troublesome. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. Are there any decks that you're interested in seeing that you may have seen from M21 that came out? I'm gonna be trying my best to post a couple maybe additional videos, just because there's a lot of decks I kind of want to try out and just get out there, and instead of making you guys wait, might as well post them as I play them. So keep posted when I do post videos. I think I'm gonna be posting a few over the weekend, so just be excited to see a couple of extra videos maybe. But I appreciate it, guys. If you like the video, hit that like button. If you want to post more videos, hit that subscribe button. I will catch you in the next video.